It is Lama Oops, let's try this again. It is Yoda Monday morning. Come, let us meditate like a Jedi. Let us turn to the latest iteration of All Good Ones Easy Meditation. Who are the All Good Ones? Simply archetypes whose iconography reminds us of various facets of the Buddha's path. And we will explore that in just a few minutes. Allow me to remind you that in junior high we learned in gym class to first warm up before our main event and then to cool down afterwards. We're going to follow a similar pattern. We're going to begin with a view of reality that supports letting go, the first fold of the Buddha's eightfold path that we could describe as Mahayoga's wisdom warm-up. Please chant with me. Rather than indulge our controlling tendencies with all follies of active visualization, emotion, magic, and belief, we could just recite these wise words in harmony with our breathing and allow our subconscious to do the heavy lifting. Let us therefore sidestep the rigidity that confuses metaphors or statements literal, and relax into the flexibility that savors the chance explaining metaphors as similes. Whoops, one moment. Let's make sure that's on the screen properly. Okay, so we're going to add something here. Let's see, hit 24. Oh, that didn't help. Okay, let's go over here and add 36. And over here we will add 2 more. Now let's see if that fits better. It does. Cowabunga. Okay. So, consider the word may. May here is not an inferred supplication to an imaginary entity. Au contraire, we are simply using words to guide our own intention. Let us consider the word circumstances. The Buddha was fond of organizing all that could be perceived in terms of the 4 bases of mindfulness, that's Satipatthana in Pali. Those 4 bases of mindfulness are the circumstantial, the physical, the interpersonal, and the mental. We're beginning with circumstances whose monosyllabic synonym is lots. We're going to... All complex animal life forms on this planet have evolved to think symbolically. That is why we find figures of speech in every civilization. We are therefore going to use metaphors. We're going to use the verb melt as a metaphor of impermanence and the inferred verb absorb as a metaphor of interdependence. Lastly, just as a forester might use fire to fight fire, we're going to use self-centeredness to transcend self-centeredness. Please chant with me. May we see how all circumstances or lots could be as impermanent and interdependent, as if they could blissfully melt into rainbow light that could delightfully absorb into this body or form. We're going to take all these words and compress them into just 6 syllables that we're going to divide between our inhalation and our exhalation. Together. May we feel how all bodies or forms could be as impermanent and interdependent, as if they could blissfully melt into rainbow light that could delightfully absorb into this communication or speech. May we hear how all interpersonal speech could be as impermanent and interdependent as if it could blissfully melt into rainbow light that could delightfully absorb into this mind. Once one decides they are curious about Buddhism and begins reading, it won't take very long before they stumble upon the word empty or its variations. And that's where the confusion begins. Sturgeon's Law reminds us that 90% of everything sucks, but not in the fun, tingly way. What could that suckiness look like? It looks like folks being controlling, fearful, let's try that again. Rigid, fearful, controlling, elitist, cryptic, competitive, and cruel. When these people attempt to explain emptiness, they do so literally. That never makes sense. Emptiness was always supposed to be a figure of speech. Any good English teacher will remind us that a simile is only as effective as it is relatable. So, on the page following this page, we're going to explore a real-world example of a non-graspable, vast empty void. Please begin chanting with me at the word may. May we feel how all perceiving, emoting, thinking, recalling, and imagining minds could be as impermanent and interdependent as if they could blissfully melt into rainbow light that could delightfully absorb into our vast empty void. Like the illusion of the infinite azure sky on a bright and beautiful cloudless morn, which, although tantalizing to the eye, could be not graspable to the hand. We're now going to take all these words over the past 2 pages and coalesce them into just 6 syllables that we're going to divide between our inhalation and our exhalation. Let us prepare to turn to the 7th and 8th folds of the Buddha's Eightfold Path, known as Hatha Yoga's mindfulness and meditation, after approximately 30 seconds of housekeeping. This is Lama Jigme Gyatso of the Buddha Joy Meditation School. For more than 30 years, I've spent about 8 hours a day, almost every day, studying, practicing, mastering, and reverse engineering the teachings and techniques of each school of meditation so that you would not have to. Welcome, my friends, to Meditate Like a Jedi, which is made possible due to the generosity of viewers just like you. So, Hatha Yoga's mindfulness and meditation could be thought of as like a luxury electric vehicle, which you probably do not wish to take off-roading. Therefore, Hatha Yoga's energy work is the very smooth highway upon which that vehicle can drive. There are many forms of energy work. My favorite is Mudra Hatha Yoga's finger gesture-oriented energy work. Doing so is not only replaces the use of a timer to keep track of how long we're meditating. It not only helps to manage our energy in our body, but for those of us who are neurodivergent, it is an excellent stimming technique. So we're going to start our first of 4 collections of 8 sets of 8 rounds. I'd like to walk you through how that works. Some people might call this Bengali crease counting. Now, what I'm about to explain to you could seem complicated, so remember. repetition is the mother of skill. Come to these live streams once every 12 hours, and within a week or two, you could master every technique in this practice. I promise it's doable. So a round is simply one inhalation and one exhalation. Every time we inhale, we can advance our right thumb. Over the course of 8 inhalations, we could articulate our right thumb thusly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, always beginning with the pinky. The left hand can be used to count sets of 8 breaths in a similar manner. 1, 2, 3, 4 sets of 8 rounds. 5, 6, 7, 8 sets of 8 rounds. But I mentioned 4 collections, and we count those on our knuckles. By resting the great knuckle at the base of our right little finger upon the tip of our left little finger in our lap, something very interesting could happen. Our body could invite our subtle energies to coalesce in the bladder region of our lower abdomen. Now, what remains is the answer to the following question. Now that we know what to do with our hands when we're breathing in and out, what are we going to do with our mind? And that switches us back from Anu Yoga to Ati Yoga. So let us begin with a chant, please. Please chant with me. The nudity of the archetypical couple sporting in tantric union reminds us of the vulnerability so crucial to watching the antics of mind, that is the mindfulness hidden within each inhalation and revealed by the demonstrative pronoun this. Nice words. What do they mean? Let us begin by explaining this through the lens of neuroscience. We'll begin with mindfulness. Every time we inhale, whether we know it or not, we are wired to effortlessly and automatically access the sympathetic nervous system that is ensconced within the middle third of our spinal cord. This sympathetic nervous system has evolved to notice in a very special way. To notice vulnerably, passively, viscerally, randomly, and fleetingly, which, as you know, is the complete opposite of the rigidity of concentration. But what is it we're supposed to notice? Why, the antics of mind, of course. Perceptions, like seeing, hearing, feeling, tasting, smelling, and the like, including emoting, intending, reasoning, recalling, and imagining. Now, it would be very nice if there was a very easy way to do this, and there is. It is as simple as silently and mentally reciting the demonstrative pronoun this, during each inhalation. This brings us to meditation. Every time we exhale, whether we know it or not, we are wired to access our parasympathetic nervous system, ensconced within both the lower third as well as the upper third of that same spinal cord. This parasympathetic nervous system has evolved to support both physical relaxation as well as mental release, with such efficacy that which we perceived during our previous inhalation could fleetingly feel a trifle less solid, less permanent, and less defining, thus facilitating at least a momentary release. Now, why aren't we all walking around like Buddhas? Because we live in a culture which is very yang, which is very controlling and rigid and fearful, and in which our cerebral cortex pretty much ignores what's going on in our autonomic nervous system when it's not downright opposing them. Here's a way around that. By silently and mentally reciting the demonstrative pronoun this during each inhalation, and the one-syllable verb ease during each exhalation induces our cerebral cortex to actively cooperate with both our sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous systems. So, once again, let's simplify this. During each inhalation, we're going to silently and mentally recite the demonstrative pronoun this. During each exhalation, we're going to silently and mentally recite the monosyllabic verb ease. I'm going to switch to Jumbo Cam right now, so that you can, if you wish, you may follow along with my hand gestures. So I'm going to tap a button 4 and adjust the location and angle of the camera. Welcome to Crotch Cam. We're going to begin by resting the by using the tip of our left little finger to support the great knuckle of the base of our right little finger. We now turn to we now turn to the second of 4 collections of our left hand's 8 sets of our right hand's 8 rounds. To keep track of that, we could rest the great knuckle at the base of our right ring finger upon the tip of our left ring finger. Oopsie, there we go. In our lap. As a fringe benefit, holding our hands this way, palms up that our thumbs might happily count creases, invites our subtle energies to coalesce in the navel region of our abdomen. Please chant with me. The translucence of the all-good mother and father depicted in paintings reminds us of the fleeting experience of impermanence and non-graspability, so common to the relaxation and to the nature of mind that is meditation, hidden within each exhalation and revealed by the monosyllabic verbies. Nice chanting. What does it mean? What if mindfulness was simply noticing in a very special way? Noticing vulnerably, passively, viscerally, randomly, and fleetingly. Noticing what? Noticing mind's antics of perception, emotion, intention, cognition, recollection, and imagination. And what if the easiest way to do all this was to silently and mentally recite the demonstrative pronoun this during each inhalation? Similarly, what if meditation was simply relaxing in harmony with our exhalation to such a degree that which we perceived during our previous inhalation could fleetingly feel a trifle less solid, less permanent, and less defining? And what if the magic way of practicing that was simply to silently and mentally recite the one-syllable verb ease during each exhalation? Please join me for this practice right now. The moment you have a specific question, please type your question in great detail in the chat window. We come now to our third collection of our right hand's 8 rounds and our left hand's 8 sets. On our right hand, we would advance the right thumb every inhalation in this manner. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Counting 8 rounds over the span of 8 breaths. On our left hand, we would count sets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 sets of 8 rounds. But now we're on our third of 4 collections. How do we keep track of that? By resting the great knuckle at the base of our right middle finger upon the tip of our left middle finger, and resting both these hands palms up in our lap so that our thumbs can happily count creases. As a happy fringe benefit of this arrangement, our subtle energies are invited to coalesce at the heart region of our chest. Please chant with me. The beauty of Kuntu Zangpo Yabgyum reminds us of the highest love, which is not the product of contrite focus or analysis, but rather the spontaneous side effect of the mindfulness and meditation that calm or anxious and aggressive amygdala and stimulate our empathetic anterior cingulate gyrus. The late Tulku Thondup taught that mindfulness was simply watching the play of mind. What if there was a way to notice vulnerably, passively, viscerally, randomly, and fleetingly? Notice what? Notice mind's perceptions, emotions, intentions, cognitions, recollections, and imaginings. The most efficient way to do that would be to silently and mentally recite the demonstrative pronoun this during each inhalation. The late Chagdu Tulku taught that meditation was simply relaxing into the nature of mind. How do we do that? What if there was a way to relax in harmony with our exhalation to such a degree that caused our previous the perceptions we experienced during our previous inhalations to fleetingly seem less solid, less permanent, and even less defining? That is as simple as silently and mentally reciting the one-syllable verb ease during each exhalation. We now come to our fourth of four collections of our right hand's 8 inhalations. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And our left hand's 8 sets of 8 inhalations. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We keep track of this fourth collection by resting the great knuckle at the base of the right index finger upon the tip of our left index finger and our lap palms up so that our thumbs can happily count creases. As a result of this, our subtle energies are gently invited to coalesce at our crown. Please chant with me. Let's try something for a moment. That's weird. Okay, here we go. So, what would happen if I increase this to 36? Would it fit? It's already at 28. How about if I hit 33? What would happen? Oh well. Not much. Please chant with me. Whoops, it looks like I need to adjust the display. Please chant with me. The stability with which I blew Samantha Badra sits, and the abandon with which cloud white Samantha Badri sports. Remind us of the scented spontaneity with which your choices, utterances, and deeds could flow in the effortless effort of the sixthfold of the Buddha's eightfold path. So it looks like there's some problem going on here. This is 28 and this is 30. Okay, that's what's going on. So I'm going to return this to 28 and that should fix the spacing problem. So, nice words, dude. What do they mean? Simple. The key to watching the antics of mind is to silently and mentally recite the demonstrative syllable this during each inhalation. The key to relaxing into the nature of mind is to silently and mentally recite the one-syllable verb ease during each exhalation. Remember, the moment you have a specific question about Buddhist chanting, Buddhist philosophy, or Buddhist meditation, simply type your question in great detail in the chat window. Oh, good morning, Shara. We now transition from silent mantra meditation to mantra meditation. We're going to begin by exploring an explanation of this mantra. Please chant with me. I invoke teachers on action, on meditation, and Hung view than the Benzatantric. Guru teaches Pema enlightenment, density abilities Hung may be mastered by all. So I'm not sure, those icons, those emoticons are small. Let me check what's going on. Going to tap button 8. Whoops, that's still too small, so I'm going to hit 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Well, all right then. Thanks for the piece. Let's see, I'm going to tap button 9. Whoopsie, let's try this again. So how does mantra meditation work? Simple. During the inhalations, silently and mentally we recite, relaxing into this. But what is this? The demonstrative pronoun this is the only label we need for whatever we experience during our inhalation. Be it let me rephrase that. This is the only label we need for whatever it is we've noticed vulnerably, passively, viscerally, randomly, and fleetingly during our inhalation. Whether that which we notice is a sight, a sound, a sensation, a flavor, a scent, or the like. Whether that which we notice is an emotion, an intention, a thought, a memory, or an imagining. Whether that which we notice is external or internal, physical or mental, pleasurable or painful, interesting or boring, glorious or grotesque. What do we do with that which we notice? Simple. During each exhalation, we physically relax as best we can, while striving to chant this 12-syllable mantra 3 times per breath. Now, if this is your first time hanging out with me, or perhaps hanging out with me, please give yourself permission to have a learning curve. The most important thing right now isn't the speed of recitation or the beauty of your chanting. The most important thing is that we practice vulnerability during our inhalation and relaxation during our exhalation. So here's how to keep track on your fingers. Each finger is 1 breath. Each set of creases is 1 repetition. Let's go for it. Om Mahum Benzo Guru Me Masiri Hung 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 Om Mahum Benzo Guru Me Masiri Hung. All right, let's see. Well, these are lovely emoticons. Thank you very much. I encourage you to stop typing and start practicing with me. We now shift gears to Mahayoga's compassionate cool down, also known as mantra loving kindness. Why do we do this? Because loving kindness comprises 50% of the Buddha's Eightfold Path. Please chant with me. rather than indulge our controlling tendencies with the follies of active visualization, emotion, magic, and belief. We could just recite these wise and kind words in harmony with our breathing and allow our subconscious to do the heavy lifting. Let us therefore sidestep the rigidity that confuses metaphors or statements literal, and relax into the flexibility that savors the chance explaining metaphors or similes. So, to keep track of the next two second and third collections of our right hand's 12 mantra repetitions, we can touch the tip of our left thumb to the tip of our left little finger and then rest this left hand upon our left thigh. Doing so gently invites our subtle energy or prana to coalesce in the bladder wheel and the bladder region of our lower abdomen. Together. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever minds we experience during our inhalation could feel as non-graspable as a real or imagined suitable whom comprised only of light. We now take all these words, allow them to coalesce into just 8 syllables that we divide between our inhalation and our exhalation. Om Ahum Bin Guru Me Maziri Hung 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 Om Ahum Bin Guru Me Maziri Hung. May we be a font of blessing for all upon who we think or who think of us. May all minds of all beings now be as peacefully enlightened as the mind of a real or imagined Buddha symbolized by Yatikle one syllable seed or bija mantra. Om Ahum Bin Guru Me Maziri Hung 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 Om Ahum Bin Guru Me Maziri Hung. Let's not have battling bijas. Let's just play with this bija. If you don't like this bija, I might not be the teacher for you. Om Ahum Bin Guru Me Maziri Hung Om Ahum Bin Guru Me Maziri Hung. The mental morality of kind intention is the second fold of the Buddha's eightfold path. We now come to the fourth and fifth collection of 12 mantra repetitions, which we keep track of by touching the tip of our left thumb to the tip of our left ring finger, and then resting this left hand upon our left thigh. Doing so gently invites our subtle energy, or chi, or prana, or lung, to gently coalesce in the navel region of our abdomen. Together, as we relax into our exhalation, all interpersonal dynamics we had during our inhalation could feel as non-graspable as a real or imagined mantra comprised only of light. Om Ahum Benzu Guru Me Maziri Hung 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 Om Ahum Benzu Guru Me Maziri Hung. May we be a font of blessing for all who we listen to, speak to, or speak of, and for all who listen to us, or speak to us, or speak of us. May all relationships, all speech of all beings know be as joyfully loving as a real or imagined Buddha speech symbolized by a multisyllabic mantra. Not sure what's that last bit. Om Ahum Benzu Guru Me Maziri Hung 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 Om Ahum Benzu Guru Me Maziri Hung. We now come to the sixth and seventh collections of mantra repetitions, which we keep track of by touching the tip of our left thumb to the tip of our left middle finger, and then resting this left hand upon our left thigh. Doing so gently invites our subtle energies to coalesce in the region of our heart. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever bodies or form we felt during or previous inhalation could feel as non-graspable as a yet-unmarked type of enlightenment comprised only of light. Om Ahum Benzu Guru Me Maziri Hung. 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 May we be a font of blessing for all who we touch or who touch us. May all bodies or forms of all beings so ensure the beautiful health represented by Buddha's statuary, depicting the blissful body of a real or imagined yet dominant archetype of enlightenment such as Kuntu Zangpo. Om Ahum Benzu Guru Me Maziri Hung. 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 The physical morality of kind conduct is the fourth fold of the Buddha's Eightfold Path. We now come to the 8th and 9th collections of 12 mantra repetitions, which we keep track of by touching the tip of our left thumb to the tip of our left index finger. We now rest this left hand upon our left thigh. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever circumstances or lots we have seen during our inhalation could feel as non-graspable as a real or imagined paradise, pure land or vati comprised only of light. Those would include circumstances of sexism, racism, homophobia, exploitation, fascism, jingoism, and genocide. Om Ahum Benzo Guru Me Maziri Hung 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 May we be a font of blessing for all who we see or who see us. May all circumstances or lots of all beings know of the safe fortune or boon, as a Buddha's real or imagined paradise, pure land of Ati. Om Ahum Benzo Guru Me Maziri Hung 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 Om Ahum Benzo Guru Me Maziri Hung. The circumstantial morality of kind commerce, replacing cruelty and competition with kindness and cooperation, is the fifth fold of the Buddha's Eightfold Path. I sincerely hope you found this to be beneficial. If you feel that I have earned it, you could give this live stream a thumbs up. You could even help support this channel. In approximately 10.25 hours, I would very much like to return to lead today's evening meditation class and group practice. And if you are as geeky as me, may the Force be with you always.